Hi everyone, Drini here, and welcome to my channel. So we're going to take a look at Bitcoin today, and of course by proxy, the rest of the crypto markets, because all of the positive price action that happened over the past couple of months has pretty much now been erased. So let's dive into the charts just to see what I'm talking about. So I have the Bitcoin weekly time frame, and as you can see, after 2 solid months of positive price action, we have pretty much erased those gains in a span of 3 weeks. Now, from an overall macro structure, we said that this particular correction will be a 5-wave Elliott wave structure to the downside instead. It is pretty much adhering to what we talked about. We are currently in the midst of a wave 5. One of the things about this particular period right here, and why I had to do a video instead of just waiting out the market, is it will look like we are forming a double bottom structure. That is also why you appear to have like a key resistance level right here from a massive sell-off, because this is a critical juncture in Bitcoin's price history. We either form a double bottom right here, or if we break through these particular lows right here of around 19,000, then we continue our wave 5 journey to the downside. From an RSI perspective, one thing that we identified before was this particular trend line right here. And as expected, we did get rejected off of this particular trend line right here. So do expect that we may rally a little bit, or at least have a flat price action one more time maybe before the eventual capitulation to the downside, somewhere around October to November. If you also notice, the Bitcoin price action appears to be hovering between the 200 and the 300 MA. Pretty odd, right? When it comes to a particular price structure, that it doesn't adhere to any particular lines. That is when you look at it from just a US dollar perspective. However, one thing that I have been watching over the past couple of months now is how does Bitcoin perform when compared to the money supply perspective? So to the US dollar money supply, or M2. And the reason for that is when we take a look at M2, so this particular blue line right here, this is the money supply that has been printed over the years. And if you notice, over the span of 2 years, so from 2020 all the way to 2022, the US has pretty much printed 40 to 50% of all USD that ever existed. It really does have an impact on price action when looking at it from a money supply perspective. Let me show you. This is the S&P when it comes to just S&P versus US dollar. As you can see, it appeared that we were just having a positive uptrend from the start of the coronavirus dump all the way till now. It looks like we have had gains, but if you account for the money supply, what happens to the S&P is it actually has just been rallying over this flat price structure right here, meaning the S&P over the past couple of years has just been rallying from a value perspective all the way back to the pre-pandemic highs before getting rejected, and now once again we are going on a downtrend. So this is Bitcoin when looking at it from just a flat US dollar perspective. But when we take a look at the money supply, remember this is the 200 MA and this is the 300 MA from a weekly time frame. When we look at Bitcoin divided by the money supply for the US dollar, what you can see is we are actually now below the 300 moving average, and it appears that it has become a rejection area, a resistance area now that we have to overcome. This price action right here is exactly why a lot of people, including myself, believe that there really is a lot more leg room to go. Once we get rejected from here, there's only pretty much one direction that Bitcoin will go moving forward, at least in the foreseeable future. So the thing to watch out for Bitcoin is when we divide it by the money supply, where could we potentially go? So now we have two hypotheses. Will Bitcoin mimic the wave 1, which is this, where the end of the wave 1, if overlaid with the start of the wave 5 right here, will end around end October or third week October, or will it mimic the wave 3? Which is a much more dramatic price drop, because this is typically the biggest wave in Elliott wave theory. But wave 5s tend to also mimic wave 3 sometimes. It could be the same length. So if that's the case, then what you're going to see is we are actually going to approach from a value perspective, and taking into account money supply, we are going to potentially approach the lows right here. If that happens, from a money supply perspective, if we reach this particular level right here, the end of this giant wave would be very similar to the value of Bitcoin pre-pandemic or during the COVID crash. How will that translate from an actual real value perspective, not just a money supply perspective? When we take this particular wave 3 right here and overlay it like this, then the value of Bitcoin, which is around $8,900 or $9,000 around here, if Bitcoin reaches this price level from a value perspective would be equivalent to this particular value right here. Which, of course, if you are worried about the day-to-day value of your portfolio, you would worry. But during a bear market, you really have to think about it from an opportunity perspective. If we reach this particular level right here, this 10,000 value, this 10,000 is equivalent to the March pre-pandemic lows. Basically, the opportunity of a lifetime. So right now, to prepare for this scenario, either way, whether or not we bounce back from here or whether or not we continue going down, the best course of action, personally, of course, is still to accumulate a cash position because you never really know. If Bitcoin reaches this particular values, then I know what to do. If it doesn't, and it reaches these particular support levels that we have identified, the 12,000 or around the 9,000 range, then I begin my DCA strategy starting from these levels accordingly and see where it takes us. Yo, before you go, like this video, subscribe, and share this video to your friends. Thank you very much and have a good day.